Good morning, Monmouth. I'm Ashley Pacifico.
And I'm Michelle Rosenhaus. We have an exciting show for you this morning. Ashley and I have some great new gossip, advice, and news for all of you viewers to catch up on.
Yes, there's a lot going on this week. A Monmouth Mac event announcement, new music from one of my favorite artists, and if you've ever considered traveling overseas, it's time to sit back, relax, and turn up the volume.
This is your AM with A and M.
So to start off, we have our first segment, AM Roast, where we give you all the dirty details going on in the entertainment world.
So our first topic is actually about Kate Middleton, and there's some drama going on with her and some photos of her in a bikini.
Well, apparently Prince William and Kate, they are on vacation on an island called Mystique in the Caribbean. And there were some vacationers that obviously noticed the two royals, snapped some pictures. Well, they decided to sell those photos because they realized the value of those pictures.
Kate Middleton.
Right. Now, Kate is kind of making a big deal out of it. You know, the pictures are just her and William frolicking in the ocean, enjoying their time with each other on vacation. Should it be as big of a deal as she probably thinks it is?
You know, I feel like it's Kate Middleton. People are gonna take her photos and sell them no matter what she's wearing. So she happened to be wearing a bikini. It happened, you know?
My thing is that she already had topless photos released of herself. This is nothing.
This is nothing.
She's on vacation in a bikini, although I am a little freaked out by pregnant women in bikinis, I have to say, just throwing that out there. No, she's already been topless before in the public eye. This is just nothing. Our next topic, I am so excited to talk about. My best friend in my head, Demi Lovato.
Let's be honest, she's not really your best friend.
She's not really my best friend, I hate to admit it, but in my head, she just released a 32-second snippet teaser video teasing her new song called Heart Attack that is set to release on March 4th.
You must be so excited for that release.
I can't even wait. She talks about basically how this journey for her fourth album, it's about her growth, and she already thinks that people, when she speaks to people, that they already know her life. So this is about growth and the celebration of life and her journey. So I can't wait. I'll be counting down those days till March 4th.
I bet you will.
But now back to more gossip news.
So what else is going on is that One Direction, actually, a bunch of them have just celebrated being 18, and
Whoa, the big 1-8.
I know, and what they did was they decided to hit up the casinos in the UK.
Oh no, sounds like trouble to me.
I know.
Well, apparently, Niall speaks and says that he won a decent amount of money, but could not say the same for the rest of the group.
I think they have a little bit of money to spare, but that's still gonna hurt a little bit.
You've got that nothing. Oh, so punny, such a bad joke. But in our last story, sad news for Gaga fans. Unfortunately, Lady Gaga had to postpone 4 of her tour dates.
Ouch.
Not good.
I feel like Gaga fans are gonna be so bummed because they are all obsessed kind of with her stardom.
Well, unfortunately, this had to happen, but it was due to a joint issue. Apparently, Lady Gaga cannot walk at this point in time. She has such severe joint inflammation that it's almost physically impossible for her to walk, and she's having trouble. So it only makes sense for her to cancel,
of course,
you know, her next couple of tour dates. But refunds will be available, which is fortunate, to the ticket buyers.
And hopefully when she starts feeling better, those people can go to her shows again. That's actually all the time that we have left for our AM Roast, but for our next segment, we wanted to update everyone a little bit on what's going on at Monmouth within the next week.
I'm excited. So there's big news. Fans of NBC's hit show, Parks and Recreation, comedian Nick Offerman will be making his way to the stage at the MAC on March 28th. Tickets will go on sale Friday, February 15th through Ticketmaster and in person at the Mac and Pollock Theater box office. For students, there's a limited amount of tickets that are priced at $20. And for more information, you can go to either one of our box offices on campus.
In sports, the Monmouth men's and women's track and field teams both defended their titles and won the Northeastern Conference Championships. And the men have won actually 5 of the last 9 NEC championships, while the women have finished either first or second in the last 10. With this win, the Hawks are ranked among the top 10 schools in the NCAA Division I Mid-Atlantic region. Congratulations to both teams.
Congratulations. And coming up on Saturday, February 16th from 8 p.m. to midnight, my favorite event, the Residence Hall Association will be hosting the Winter Ball, held in Wilson Hall. It is an opportunity to dress up, lounge, eat delicious food, and dance the night away. I know from last year, this is an unforgettable event. Seeing Wilson Hall turn into this even more stunning experience geared for the students, it's just incredible. I have my ticket and I can't wait to see what this year has to offer.
Well, with the Winter Ball just around the corner, we would also like to remind all Monmouth students to keep singing and dancing at Hawk TV's own Rock and Raise. This event will be held on Friday, February 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m., and we hope to see you all there. This event is similar to a battle of the bands where you would get to vote and choose your favorite performances. All proceeds for this will actually go to Relay for Life, so stop by on Planned Year and donate.
That's all for AM Hawks News, but when we come back, we have an interview with Monmouth's own Rachel Connors. Stay tuned.
I look up to a lot of the older heads, you know, the innovators, the heads of the art movements of the past. They kept it really edgy, and like a lot of the Latin American muralists and Latin American artists, and their styles were very unique and new to their time. You know, somewhat controversial, but that's who I look up to mainly. Personally, I'm very excited about going to college. It's something new and it's something different than what I'm used to. I'm definitely going to be a little out of my element, but that's what makes it so exciting, is that, you know, it's something fresh. Well, there's so many opportunities that I think I could miss out on if I didn't go, you know? Getting into college takes planning and vision. You know, it's just like when I take a brick wall and turn it into a canvas for my art. Paintings help me realize that I've got what it takes.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
True definition of hero. And been a hero. Took a heroic effort.
Every day we bring to our fans the world of sports. We speak of heroes and heroism, but there are days when sports matter little and heroes matter more. These heroes don't hit walk-off homers or buzzer-beating threes. They simply made a plan for what to do when disaster strikes. You never know when you might need to be the hero, because you never know if today is the day before a natural disaster. Prepare, plan, be a hero. Visit ready.gov.
Welcome back to Good Morning Monmouth. We always like to have an interview with someone, and this week we have Rachel Connors here with us.
Rachel Connors is a junior psych major who just recently returned from a whole semester over in London, and coincidentally has been working in the study abroad office for the past 3 years. So Rachel, welcome. First off, how did that come to be?
I'm actually a federal work study student, and my freshman year in the fall, I went to the federal work study job fair, and that's where I met Robin and Rose, and Robin's the assistant director of study abroad, and Rose at the time worked for study abroad. She now works for student employment, but they hired me on the spot, and I started working some hours there, and kind of never looked back. Been there ever since.
So is that job kind of what made you want to study abroad?
For sure. There's always students coming in all the time who had just gotten back or were getting ready to go, and I kind of learned through a lot of what they said and what they did, and especially how to apply. I kind of knew the ins and outs right away.
Was there one particular reason that was just the deciding factor that you had to go abroad?
I read the student stories online, and I resonated with a lot of those, and every single one basically said it was the best decision they ever made. So I think the more I saw that over and over, I just kind of became stronger. But I knew coming to college in general that I was interested in studying abroad, but Mom actually made it really easy, so it definitely helped.
What was your favorite moment when you studied abroad, like the defining experience?
Oh gosh, there were so many. We actually lived with Americans, so getting to know a lot of the Americans from the West Coast. I have friends in Minnesota now. I never thought I'd be able to say that. And the international students in the classes. I don't know, the classes were really different. Really fun experience. I got to see Taylor Swift in concert for free. That was awesome.
Get out of here.
Yeah, she turned on the Christmas lights at the Westfield Mall. And it was like a spontaneous thing, and we were like, okay, like let's try to see her. And that was actually really fun. So a whole bunch of things, meeting people, making new friends. It was great.
That sounds like an absolute amazing experience. Now, you mentioned how different the workload was in London. So how so? How did it differ?
Their teaching style is very different. It's hard to say it was easier or it was harder. It all depends on your major. Some people took elective courses. I took 3 psych classes and a communication class. So it's a lot less test focused. They're kind of more laid back, and you kind of learn for the sake of learning more, which is refreshing. It was definitely different, but great.
Since it was kind of laid back, did you get to travel a lot, and where did you really get to go?
We did. I only had class Monday through Thursday for the first time, which was great. And I got to see 5 other countries. And Regents College actually hosts weekend trips and some day trips too. So I went with the school to Paris, which was amazing. And they actually hosted a pony trekking trip to Wales too. So we got to go horseback riding for a weekend with them. And then I had some of my own trips planned with friends to Ireland and to Scotland, to Edinburgh, the capital, which was unreal.
So what was your favorite place that you traveled outside of London?
I did my fall break to Italy, and I really loved Florence. I could see Rome, Milan, Venice, and Florence, but Florence was definitely my favorite. It was big city, small town, beautiful, beautiful architecture. Everyone spoke English, which I didn't think was going to be the case, so it was like so nice and friendly, and they were actually really receptive to the Americans, so it was a nice, comforting thing.
For any future students who were looking to study abroad, would you suggest going to London? Would you suggest going somewhere else?
I love London because it was my first time out of the United States, so I knew I could travel to other countries relatively easily, which is something that was appealing to me. Australia is also a really great program. They also speak English there. Or you can go to Cadiz, Spain, or Florence, Italy. All of them are great. I could rave about all of them. It all depends on what you're interested in, what your major is. Sometimes you can tell by the classes which is the better fit for you, but I would definitely recommend London, and I loved it. But all the programs are actually really strong.
Was there one thing that when you were over in London, you were like, man, I really miss this from home. I really wish I was back there?
The food, I hate to be so cliche, but the food is very, very different. It's just really bland. They don't really have any flavors like we do in the States, so it's just like meat and potatoes, and that's what they have like every night. But you definitely got used to it, but definitely not known for their food, fish and chips. Oh. Not that great.
Not a fan, huh?
Not a fan, no. Italy, I'll eat there all day, but London, no. I definitely missed strange things. Bacon, they don't have American bacon there.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, like weird things.
I'm not so sure I want to know what their bacon is made out of.
It's like sausage, it's like a sausage ham patty. It's kind of strange, but definitely bacon was on the list.
Now, if you could give one piece of advice to future study abroaders, what would you have to say to them?
I think just to keep an open mind. There's so much to learn, and you can get so hung up on the little things like text messages not going through to home, or my friends, just went out and did something really cool in the States, but I'm in London, like, hello, So you kind of have to put things in perspective a lot and realize that you're there for such a finite time that you really do have to take advantage of every day, and you should. So that would be my advice, to go in full force and have an open mind.
Well, it sounds like you had a great experience and great advice for everyone else who is looking to possibly do that.
Amazing, I'm jealous.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks,
That's
Rach.
all the time we have.
We will be right back with more great news and advice to kickstart your morning. Stay tuned.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
We would like to get right back into the swing of things with our AM advice. In this segment, we share some questions that viewers have and instruct them on what to do as best as we can, of course.
Our first question is actually about the upcoming Valentine's Day. I've been dating this girl for about a month, and I really like her. I'm not sure if she's into Valentine's Day and if I should get her a gift and be corny, just take her out, or just forget all about it. So he wants to know what he should do. What's your advice?
Oh my goodness, Valentine's Day. It's, it's just one of those days where it kind of all depends on where you are in your relationship and whatnot. But honestly, I think a card. Really, like it's like a sweet like.
Really?
No, I know, not like a thoughtful like a something.
I'm not a card kind of a girl.
No, okay, maybe not a card. I don't know. I'm really bad. I've never really had like a Valentine to like exchange with, even like a serious Valentine.
No, I agree, me neither.
So,
but I feel like a card, I'd be like, see ya.
Not just a card, Michelle. Not that kind of. No, okay. No, that's a bad. Okay, that's bad. That's bad advice. So scratch that. No, I'm big on flowers, but not red roses. No. Red roses on Valentine's Day is so cliche. Like, I'm sorry, it is. Everyone and their mother receives red roses on Valentine's Day. You know my favorite color is pink, or that really pretty peach color that sometimes is yellow. That would work. So I think you could do a little flower situation. Definitely avoid the chocolate. I think that's weird.
We have different opinions on this.
Really?
I mean, I'll go for the flowers,
go ahead.
But get me some chocolate. Let's go on that corny date. Like, I'm all for it, but no card.
Yeah, no, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, no card.
I love flowers, like flowers or chocolate, or maybe both without a date.
Okay.
I think that's the way to go.
No, I think that's nice. I'm all for corny dates. I think like something that we could do like that like brought us back to like childhood memories, even if like we didn't have the same childhood memory. You know what I mean? Just like something kicking it old school.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I like that, but definitely not red roses.
Not a card.
Not a card either. Okay, well, our next question. Hi, Michelle and Ashley. Well, hello there. I have a friend who's constantly trying to compete with me. Everything has to be a competition, from who did the fastest mile at the gym to who made it to class first or who got the best sale at the mall. She feels the need to be the best at all times, and it's getting on my last nerve. She's one of my closest friends, but I just can't keep up. What do you think I should do? Michelle, what advice do you have for her?
I mean, I have some competitive friends too, and I feel like I am always trying to compete with them, but you really just can't. Just, you know what, if you don't care that much, let them win and move forward is kind of my advice. I know that sounds like something that you shouldn't want to do, but at the same time, why not?
Right. See, I think personally for me, if she's one of your closest friends, whichever, is one of your closest friends, I think it's time to speak up and be like, what is your deal?
That's very true.
Why are you always trying to battle me? I mean, if we're this close, why do you feel the need to always one-up?
Might be a jealousy issue too.
It could be.
Could be something deep-rooted.
It could be, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm all about communication. So for me, it's like if I have an issue, I'm gonna speak to you about it, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It's, what's your deal? Why are you doing this? It really upsets me. We need to fix things.
I agree. I think that's kind of a bold but a good attitude to go about things.
Right?
Yeah. So our last and final question is in relation to schoolwork, actually. I've been having a hard time with one of the students in my group for a group project. They haven't been putting in the effort that everyone else is, and it isn't fair to me. How do I handle this?
You know, I'm not big on being like a tattletale. I'm not. You know, like, I think it's so silly how people are like, well, I don't want to tell, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I totally understand. But if it gets to the point where you and your other group mates are putting in so much work, and this one person who may or may not be slacking gets the same sort of grade or the same sort of acknowledgement for doing the project as a whole, I don't think that's fair one bit. And to be honest, I probably would say something to the professor, not in front of the whole class, of course, but I would definitely, take the professor aside at some point in time and say, listen, here's the deal. I mean, we're really busting our butt over here, and this person is, not even showing up to group meetings. So that's how I would handle it.
I agree. I think there are two ways to go about it. You could either do that route, or you could kind of just suck it up, deal with everything, and kind of push it to the side, and you and your teammates work it over, because in the real world, you're really not going to be able to just tell on people. So I think that there are definitely two ways.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for AM Advice, but please submit your questions that you want answered in the box outside of Plangier. We want to answer any questions on anything that you may need.
And I'm actually really sorry, but that's all the time we have left with you this morning.
Oh.
We hope that everyone enjoyed the show and spending your time with us.
Tune in for more AM in the AM on Good Morning Monmouth. See you next time.